tried, and it didn't work. And now I need help. The squeeze in her chest made the next word come out rougher than the rest, and about as desperate as she felt. Please. Gruff and Grumpy opened his mouth, but his mom placed her hand on his arm and aimed a kind smile at Jess. Well, we're real sympathetic to your cause. We have a large staff to support. The program isn't free to run, and even if you had the money, we're already running at full capacity. As Jess had packed in a wild rage, the scent of the jail cell she'd bailed her daughter out of still lingering, along with the image of her sitting there with that smug teenage boy who'd gotten his hooks into Chloe, she'd been so sure that all she needed to do was drive to Silver Springs. She thought if she could just meet the people who ran Turnaround Ranch, she could get them to take in Chloe. Usually she was pretty good at convincing people in person. The combo of friendly and refuses to take no for an answer was how she'd climbed her way to the top of every job she'd had. Not easy for a girl with nothing more than a GED. The youngest and friendliest of the cowboys thrust a clipboard toward her. You can fill out a form and put her on a wait list. Gruff and Grumpy's flinty gray eyes were still on her. The way he studied her left her gut churning in a not altogether unpleasant way, which made no sense. Every one of them had done a double take when she'd said her daughter was a few months shy of 16. It happened a lot. Comments about how she wasn't old enough to have a teenage daughter. People asking if Chloe was actually hers. Most any time you put actually in a sentence, you should rethink it. Jess had been the age Chloe was now when she fell in love with a cute, rebellious boy with a tragic backstory. Her common sense had been left by the wayside and she'd made bad decisions, not so much sleeping with the guy, but not seeing through his lines until it was too late. Although, for the record, she was all for being a lot older than 15 when it came to sex, especially in her daughter's case. I want her to have a better life. If this is the only way to keep her from having to go through what I did, it'll be worth her hating me for a while. Even as she thought it, a raw spot opened up in her chest. She and Chloe used to be so close. Before the boy. Before the promotion that left Jess working extra long hours, often late into the night. It's my fault, which is why I have to fix it. Jess eyed the extended clipboard. The guy who offered it didn't seem to know if he should keep holding it out or not. By then it might be too late. By the time the ranch made it through the wait list, Chloe could be even more entangled in her boyfriend's web. Even if she didn't get pregnant, because heaven knew the lectures on birth control had been lengthy, she would end up heartbroken, with nothing to show for it but a criminal record. I know way too much about regrets and too little too late. Chloe was too young to understand the way a stigma could follow you around your entire life. It hadn't ended. Jessica still got the looks, the comments. So much judging, which she should be above caring about, and was, most days. But that had changed on the night her own now estranged mother's words had come back to haunt her. You keep that baby, and all you'll do is ruin both of your lives. Jess knew she should stand up, hold her head high, and go and collect her daughter from the porch swing where she was undoubtedly still sulking. But she'd done enough research to know that this was where she wanted her daughter. A friend of a friend had sent their teen here, and claimed he came back a different person. Jess didn't want Chloe to be a different person. She wanted back the girl she'd lost about 6 months ago. A hint of sympathy flickered through Gruff and Grumpy's eyes, but then the firmness crept back in. He reached up and readjusted his cowboy hat, which set off some kind of wave that made the other two brothers do the same. Seriously? Why do they have to look like they belong on the cover of Ride a Cowboy Weekly? Wait. That sounded dirtier than she meant it. Not that she'd exactly take it back. They practically dripped masculinity, their bodies speaking to hours of manual labor, and the effect kept hijacking her jumbled thoughts.